The smell hit me first sharp, chemical like burning plastic and scorched dreams. It wasn't just any fire. Commander Ethan Carter knew that stench from 100 crime scenes, but this wasn't some stranger's tragedy crackling through his radio. This was Maple Lane, his quiet street, his home. And there, in the front yard of the bungalow where he'd grown up, a nightmare unfolded. His dad, Major Tom Carter, a retired vet, was trapped in his wheelchair, swallowed by angry orange flames that spat and hissed like a levying beast. Ethan's unmarked SUV skidded to a halt, tires screeching. He'd just finished a brutal 24-hour shift leading the city's arson squad, his clothes still reeking of a warehouse blaze. All he'd wanted was a beer, a ball game, and his dad's gruff commentary. Instead, his heart slammed against his ribs as he sprinted toward the fire, legs pumping on raw adrenaline. "Dispatch! This is Commander Carter," he roared into his mic, voice cracking with terror. "Structure fire, VY Tim Immolation, 214, Maple Lane. It's my dad. Send everything MS Lifelight now." Neighbors spilled onto their lawns, faces pale with shock. Old Mr. Thompson from across the street, who'd swap war stories with Tom over the fence, was spraying a pathetic garden hose at the blaze, the water hissing uselessly into steam. Ethan reached his dad in seconds that felt like years. Tom was slumped, flames licking his clothes, his face twisted in pain, a low moan escaping his lips. The heat was a wall, show VYing Ethan back, but he fought it, screaming, "Dad, hold on." He yanked the fire extinguisher from his trunk, a habit from years of knowing seconds could mean life or death. With a burst of white powder, he attacked the flames, car VYing a path to Tom. Mr. Thompson, galvanized, rushed to help. The wheelchair's restraints were molten, searing Ethan's hands, but they tore Tom free, dragging him to the grass as sirens wailed closer. Tom's breaths were shallow, his skin blistered red, the sickening smell of burnt flesh choking Ethan's lungs. He knelt, shielding his dad, whispering, "They're going to be okay," though the lie burned his throat. Tom's burns were catastrophic, his life fading before Ethan's eyes. Through the smoke, Ethan saw her Lydia Harper, the HOA president, standing on the sidewalk, arms crossed, her face not horrified like the others but cold, appraising. Their eyes locked for a split second, and something dark flickered in hers before she turned away, feigning concern for a firefighter. A chilling certainty hit Ethan. This wasn't an accident. This was arson, personal and VY size. Tom Carter with a rock, a Vietnam vet with a purple heart and a spine of steel, even after shrapnel stole his legs decades ago. He'd raised Ethan in that bungalow, filling it with love, discipline, and stories of jungles and foxholes. His wheelchair, a high-tech necessity, let him tend his prized roses and argue with the TV news, his independence fierce despite his age. Ethan, consumed by his arson squad duties, cherished their quiet evenings wore MOVYES, shared meals, or just sitting on the porch, listening to Tom's tales grow fainter with time. Lydia Harper, though, was trouble. A sharp-faced woman in her late 50s, she'd taken over the Maple Lane HOA with a dictator's zeal, obsessed with community standards and slashing costs. Her suits were as stiff as her smile, and her meetings were marathons of condescension, targeting anyone she deemed a financial burden. Ethan and Tom had mostly avoided her, Tom dismissing her as a meddling busybody. But months ago, at an HOA meeting, Lydia's true colors showed. She'd proposed gutting funds for sidewalk repairs and accessibility ramps, calling them low priority for a few residents. Tom, usually absent from such meetings, spoke up, his voice steady. "Those ramps aren't just budget lines, Miss Harper. They're dignity, independence. Cutting them isn't smart, it's cruel." Lydia's response was ice. "Major Carter, your Sare VYC is appreciated, but our resources are finite. Some residents' needs are too costly. Perhaps they'd be better suited elsewhere." The room went silent, her words a thinly veiled jab at Tom's disability. Ethan's blood boiled, but Tom, with a weary shake of his head, signaled to leave. The proposal failed, but Lydia's hostility grew. She sent Tom a formal notice about his medical waste bin standard, discreet, but suddenly an eyesore to her. Ethan fought it off with city codes, but then Lydia cornered Tom on his porch, questioning his ramp's compliance and hinting he was a liability. Tom, shaken, told Ethan, "She called me a drain, said vets let me expect handouts." Ethan confronted Lydia, warning her to back off. Her reply was chilling. "One must prepare for all eventualities, Commander, especially with depreciating assets." The suspicion deepened when Mr. Thompson, a retired accountant, approached Ethan, nervous. "Lydia's not just mean," he whispered. "She's tied to a property scheme. I saw it on the HOA, finance, committee regularities, targeting elderly residents like your dad to drive them out." He suspected Lydia worked with developers eyeing Maple Lane for luxury condos, devaluing properties by neglecting SARE VYCES and harassing costly homeowners. Rumors from her old neighborhood hinted at accidents, fires, floods forcing sales at bargain prices. Ethan installed smoke detectors and dug into Lydia's finances, finding shell companies and shady contacts, but no hard proof. Until the fire. The wheelchair's charred remains told a story only an arson expert could read. Ethan's team, led by Lieutenant Sarah Vega, found pour patterns and a commercial-grade solvent deliberate, meant to burn hot and fast. Neighbors' accounts tightened the noose. Mrs. Thompson saw Lydia near Tom's house minutes before the fire, carrying a dark tote bag. Doorbell footage caught her Leah VYing without it. A search of Lydia's garage uncovered the bag, hiding a solvent container and a lighter, plus rags with fibers matching Tom's clothes. In her office, Ethan found a map with Tom's house circled, labeled Eliminate. The pieces clicked. Greed, not just cruelty, drove her. Ethan faced Lydia at her pristine home, EVY Denke in hand. "We found a solvent in your garage," he said, voice like steel. "Witnesses put you at the scene. Your financial records tie you to developers profiting from DRIVY-ing out residents like my dad." Lydia's composure cracked, her face paling. "He was an obstacle," she hissed. "A costly asset dragging down progress. Sacrifices are necessary for the greater good." Her cold confession was worse than any rage-pure, calculated EVYL. Ethan cuffed her, charging her with attempted murder, arson, and racketeering. Her eyes burned with defiance. "Progress can't be stopped, Commander. This isn't over." Lydia's trial was a spectacle, exposing suburban greed and prejudice. Her defense stress, a lapse crumbled against forensic EVY Denke, witnesses, and her own damning words. She got life without parole, her name synonymous with monstrosity. Her developer allies faced indictments, their plans for Maple Lane dead. Tom, defying odds, served VY Vet. His recovery was brutal surgeries, grafts, therapy, but his spirit held. He lost his lower legs and a hand, yet faced each day with a grit that outlasted Vietnam. Ethan took leave, haunted by smoke and guilt, but stayed by Tom's side, their bond unbreakable. Maple Lane changed. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a neighborly watch and a vow to protect the vulnerable. Years later, Tom, scarred but alive, sat on his new porch, his roses blooming again. Ethan, now deputy chief, married Sarah Vega, their love forged in fire. They'd watched their kids play where Tom nearly died, the air sweet with resilience. But a note after Lydia's Con VY tie-in, "This isn't over. Watch your back," kept Ethan VY Gillant. Some fires never fully die. What do you think? Could someone like Lydia exist in your neighborhood? Should HOAs have less power to prevent abuse? Was Ethan right to pursue justice so personally, or should he have stepped back? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe for more stories that spark debate.